In this video, I want to do a quick walkthrough of creating the chat functionality with CoreGPT step-by-step guide. And this guide will be available on my website, and all the code from this video will be on my GitHub page. And I'm going to use CoreGPT step-by-step chat guide to develop this project. First, let's set up our front end. Open your terminal and type npm create b latest. Hit enter and it will ask you a couple of questions like what's your project name and what template to use. Pick something like my chat ad for the name, and for the template choose React and JavaScript. Then move to your new project folder. We're going to use Lucidity React for the icons and React Markdown to format the AI response. So in your terminal, you want to run the command npm install Lucidity React and React Markdown. And for the styling, we're going to use Tailwind CSS. Run the command npm install Tailwind CSS, and we also need to add the plugin for Beat. So add the command add Tailwind CSS /Beat. Now we got to tell our project to use it. Open a file called beat-config.ts in your project folder. If it is not there, just create it. Import Tailwind CSS and include it in the plugins array. And finally, in the index.css file, import Tailwind CSS. Now we need to create our main chat page. Create a new folder named page, and inside this folder, create a chat.js file. And inside this file, first, we're going to bring all the tools we need. We're going to use useState to help us remember things like the message, use ref to scroll to the bottom of the message, and use effect to update when change happen in the code. We also are importing custom component that will build separately. We're going to create our main chat component, and we're going to set our memory storage using useState for the input when the user type, for all the message exchange with the message. We're also going to add a loading state when to show the banner or not. And we're going to use the message and ref so we can scroll to the bottom of our messages. Then we're going to use use effect for the side effect. The first use effect will automatically scroll down to show the newest message whenever a message is added or changed. And I'll give it a smooth scrolling effect rather than jumping instantly. And the second use effect will hide the welcome banner as soon as there is at least one message in the chat. Then we're going to create the send message function. And this function will remove all extra space from the message, check if the message is empty, hides the banner if it's still showing, add the user message to the conversation, clears the input, and show a loading indicator. And inside this function, we're going to do a fetch using the method post to our backend API. And finally, we'll create the actual layout of our chat page. We're going to use a container that takes all the full screen height. We're going to have a scrollable area for the message with a padding and spacing. We're going to add the welcome banner, all the message in the conversation displayed by the chat bubble component, the loading indicator if we are waiting for a response. We're going to use an invisible marker at the bottom for scrolling, and we're going to add the input box at the bottom so the user can type their message. And this guide will also show you the complete code for every part of the component for this project. You can find the full guide on my website and the link in the description below. And it is completely free. I'm going to finish the front end because I want to spend more time showing the AI part and the backend. So I'm going to copy all the final code for the missing front end part, and you will have a chat interface just like mine. And if you try to send a message right now, you will get an error because you need to set up a backend to communicate with the AI model. In this case, with OpenAI models. And for that, we're going to set up a Node.js with Express backend. So create a new folder that will hold all backend configuration. Open a new terminal and move to the project folder. In the terminal, run the command npm init-y to initialize the Node backend. And also run the command touch.env to create a .env file. And inside this file, you want to add the two variables, the OpenAI API key and the port 8000. Then head back to your terminal and install the dependency. We're going to use Express to build our API, Cores to enable access from different domains, .env to get the information from the environment variables, and finally install OpenAI to communicate with the models. After that, we need to configure the package.json file. We're going to open, and in the script section, we're going to add a start script with the command node index.js. In top of the script section, we're going to add type module so we can use modern JavaScript syntax. After that, set up your backend structure with all the necessary folders and files. And this structure will help you keep your backend code organized in any case you need to add new features like generate image or reading document. So now we're going to work on the main chat route. So move to your routes folder in the send message file. We're going to import Express and a chat helper to communicate with the model. And then we're going to define a new route with the router from Express. We're going to set up this route to a method post. We're going to get the user message from the request body. We're going to call the chat helper function to get the AI response and send the response back to the front end as a JSON. If any error, we're going to handle it in a try catch block. And finally, we need to export the router to use in our main server file. As always, this guy will show you the complete code from any part that you're working. So now we need to define our OpenAI helper function. Inside the util folder in the OpenAI helper JSS, we're going to import OpenAI, the config function from .env, and you're going to call the config function at the top so we can have access to the environment variable. Then we initialize the OpenAI client inside a variable named OpenAI. Then we're going to create a chat helper function that will take a message or prompt, the model name, the system instruction, and the message history, and add some default value to this parameter. Then we're going to send a request to the OpenAI and return the response in a simple format so the front end can use it. And the last step, let's finish our application by setting up the main server with Express and connecting all the pieces together. Head back to your terminal and run the command npm start or node in the .js, head back to your front end, and with the server running, you should be able to interact with your chatbot and to the OpenAI model. And the best part is that you can follow the other guys to keep developing and learning to implement the key ChatGPT functionality. You can start from scratch or continue adding features to this project. CoreGPT was built to be a how-to for developers that are looking to enter the world of AI application with its easy-to-follow step-by-step guide. If you want to get CoreGPT, you can visit my website or use the link in the description. And remember, if you want to learn to create your own AI application, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow me on social media.